Hey everybody, welcome to Canadian Mortgage Hangout TV. My name is Gordon McCallum. I got Scott Dawson and Rob Cabell with me today. How are you, fellas?
Doing great.
So we got a condensed show today. We don't have Jackson with us watching the Twitter. But if you're following along, watching for the first time, or one of our regular viewers, please send us your questions at #CMHTV. You can contact Scott or Rob or I and let us know what's on your mind in the world of mortgage brokering. We just talk industry stuff on the show. If you haven't watched before, we like to kind of get down and dirty with what's going on in the industry and what's new. So what are you guys, Rob, I'll start with you. What's new out in your neck of the woods? Anything coming up lately that is of concern or a pleasant surprise maybe?
I want to ask Rob something. I'm going to cut him off. Totally cut him off.
No, my laptop is
Jump all over it.
Oh. Are we good now?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. Yeah. No, everything's going well. We're busy. A lot of big deals. And even even A deals are getting a bit tricky these days. So a lot of delayed deals at the insurers, and everything is getting pushed out. There's a big workload on everybody's desks. So yeah, just swamped.
I got a question for you, Rob. Let's keep this light, but I don't think we've talked about it yet because I don't see you on social media anymore. What's going on?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, good call. I'm on a social media blackout. That's a self-induced social media blackout. So my birthday was October the 4th, and I decided just about a week before my birthday, you know what, I need to kind of do a cleanse from the Twitter and the Farce book and Instagram, everything. I just kind of pulled the plug on everything. I haven't deactivated my accounts, but I've just taken them off my phone. I got my wife to change my password so I wouldn't be able to sneak in and log in. And so I just want to dedicate more time at being a better broker, like, just becoming tighter with my game as far as deals, deal flow, education, just being a better business person. So yeah, bit of a blackout. April 15th, I think is when I'm coming back. I don't know. Don't even know. It feels great. I got to be honest with you. It's amazing how much we as a crowd, propping ourselves up and checking it all the time, and it just drains your day. Like you don't get half the stuff done you're supposed to get done. So that's what I'm up to.
Sounds like a real productivity enhancement. I guess that doesn't include your recent appearance on ilovemortgagebrokering.com, but that's a web property, not a social media thing. So podcasts, what's going on with that, Rob? Tell us about, and our good friend, there's
Scott
a friend Scott from Kelowna, Scott Packer.
We should have Scott on because he's doing a good thing there. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we should have him on. Scott, if you're watching, you should come on.
Yeah, he will come on. He will come on because he actually did mention that he'd like to be a guest on a show of ours. So yeah, I did just a I Love Mortgage Brokering podcast. If nobody's been kind of clued into that program, it's ilovemortgagebrokering.com, I believe, or .ca. Try either.
.com. It's .com. I'm on it right now.
.com. And it's good. It's good content. I've been toying with the idea of starting exactly what Scott started. I think with communication these days, it's so easy now to learn from our peers and our colleagues, as opposed to back in the day. 20 years ago, you'd meet people at a trade show and maybe have 5 minutes ago, hey, have you ever come across these deals? Whereas now, it's just so much easier to connect and learn from others that have been in this game for a long time. So I did an episode. I don't think I'm worthy of being on the podcast. I think I got a lot more smoke and mirrors than I actually have to offer. But it was good to be a guest.
Now I'm wondering, when we have Peckford on the show, I'm gonna ask him, is this really just SEO sort of link bait for people's names? Because it's, next time I search Rob Campbell, I Love Mortgage Brokering is gonna come up with a really nice backlink, I'm sure, to Peckford's site.
I will say this on those pages, he does have all the coordinates for every guest. So yeah, they can, if they really want to find me, they can still find me.
Yeah,
so good suggestion.
Crazy as a fox, that guy. Good job, Scott. Now, so the interview went well, though. Did you enjoy it? What was it like? What was the process like? It
was really good. Scotty gives you He gives you a list of the questions to ask, so you can kind of get prepared. I can use information going for a while, so yeah, it was good. He kind of he does his thing. I think it's really good what he's doing, and I know that Scotty Dawson over there. Yeah, Barry Internet does suck. By the way, I'm sorry for everybody who's watching this, and I'm doing this. Yeah. Barry Internet's worse than Guelph Internet.
Guelph Internet. You know what? What I found though was, and sidetracked on that, but if people are watching through YouTube, I think it actually is not too bad when you're watching the show afterwards. It actually kind of gets fixed. It's just, I think, live sometimes it doesn't.
That's good.
Do it all. So.
That's a relief. No, and Robbie, you're running short on battery life. It sounds like too. So
I might, if I bail out, that's why. 100%.
We won't take offense to it. In the news here recently, there was Benjamin Tal came out, who's one of the chief economists with CIBC, and said people are taking advantage of low interest rates to pay down an additional $11 billion a year in principal than what was being recognized by the Bank of Canada. That's pretty exciting news, hey? Anybody surprised to hear that? I guess it's just one of those things. Right now, there's a lot of competing news. I don't know if you guys, Scott, if you noticed this. I'm finding that there's all these competing news stories, competing ideologies, or competing theories on what's going on in the market. You'll have, literally in the same day on the newspaper, you have an article saying household debt at crazy alarming levels, and Gail Vaz-Oxlade is saying that the sky is falling, and then somebody else comes out and says, well, actually, you know what, it's not too bad, and in fact, people are paying off their debt substantially faster because rates are low and they have prepayment privileges and everything else. Who do you believe? If you're the consumer out there, are you really just going to believe whoever says the thing that you want to hear? Is that sort of where people are at these days? Are they looking for something to validate their gut instinct?
If it bleeds, it leads. If it bleeds, it leads, man. That's just bad news sells. To get people all fired up over what's happening in the economy and in their markets, everybody just needs to mind what they're doing in their own bank account. Don't worry about what I say to people when they come in and say, hey, do you think we should buy this house because the values might go down in the next 10 years? I say to them, are you going to have the house for longer than 10 years? Yes. Then you haven't lost on your investment. Like, it's a home. Think of it as a home for your family first, not an investment, right? Or it's not like the stock market where it can go day to day. So.
Exactly.
Scott, you probably, being in the Vancouver market, you may be even more susceptible to this because of the extreme values there. Are the local papers talking about this sort of thing all the time? Are they talking about overvalue?
They do. I don't read it. Much like Rob's doing, you kind of you pay attention a little bit, but there's files on my desk that have it that people are still buying homes, right? People are still working. People are still buying homes to live in. So I focus on that, and I don't worry. It's a bit of putting my head in the sand. But if I'm busy helping people find mortgages for the homes they're buying, it's a good day, right? So I really try not to pay a ton of attention to kind of the mainstream media on day to day, because there's always something gloomy happening. So
yeah, I suppose, yeah, that's true.
That's kind of where I come from on that.
How are you finding your lenders these days? Are lenders keeping up? Are you finding that any particular lenders are really catching your eye or your attention these days, Scott?
I've been one of the big banks that I like to use actually now. We're on the kind of the model that they use. We have your dedicated underwriter, right? So provided we're organized on the file with documents and everything else, we can send a file in and have it turned around within a day for the most part. We can send docs up front, so that's kind of nice.
I think you cut it out there at the beginning, but were you saying the big banks? Is that who you're using?
For Scotiabank, I've been using quite a bit now. Just because I've got a great underwriter. He's awesome. We work well together. I can send him a full package of documents, and the deal gets the deal gets turned around really fast, so the relationship's good. I mean, they don't do everything. They don't always have the best, not the best, but they don't always have, say, the lowest rate all the time, but it's a good product and good turnaround time.
Yeah.
So for the right client, it makes sense.
Are either of you guys using some of the newer lenders like Radius or CMLS or any of those?
Have you CMLS? They're a lender I like to look at from time to time. They come in kind of waves. That right now they're not so good on the fixed rate, but they're pretty good on variables. So something I'd look at for that.
Yeah, we use Radius here.
Pardon me. This cough is killing me, so I'm trying not to cough into the mic. I haven't used either one personally, so Rob, I noticed Radius is advertising some pretty good rates. Are you any feedback on how what other brokers might consider using them as an alternative to, perhaps?
You kind of cut out a little bit, but you asked me about Radius. Radius is a good lender. They're definitely a niche lender. They're definitely for specific files. I don't know too much about them because that's on the A side, and I never used to use them when I was back in Guelph, but we do use them here now, and they've got a good couple of products. So yeah, good lender. I'm gonna bow out, guys, because I think I might be part of the problem why the show's so choppy. So I'm gonna bow out because my laptop's ready to die, and I do not have my charger cord. So I wish you well. Keep the conversation going. We'll talk to you later. Right
on. Thanks, Robbie. Scott, what's your experience been like with CMLS? Are they a full suite lender?
Yeah,
are they?
It's like it's a monoline, right? It's the back end insure everything, so it's pretty standard in terms of how to where it's going to fit. That's I guess part of the thing with lenders is a lot of them are just really the same, right? So you kind of have to funnel your files where you have probably a good relationship with lenders.
Yeah. Is it like a Paradigm Quest kind of a back end, or
they do their own? I believe they do their own insure policies, right? So one thing I do kind of like about them is you have a choice with commissions in terms of if you want to take like an upfront commission or if you want to take it on a renewal model. So they don't pay a trailer, but they will pay if you opt for that renewal model. You take a bit of a hit of commission up front, but you get paid if when the client renews at the end of the term. So I like that. I see that more and more. I kind of try and like to be strategic where I place my files when to think about what's going to be happening in 5 years. Because as we're seeing now, right, it's getting harder and harder to requalify people. It doesn't always make sense to switch somebody, when their mortgage is up for renewal, or you can't switch them for whatever reason, or you've seen that, I'm sure, as your book churns, right? It's just gotten a lot more difficult to get stuff done. So you got to I think brokers kind of got to take a look at where they're putting their business. And why, and I think long term as well.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, that's all I've got on my plate today. I know it sounds like it's busy in your office. It's busy in our office. We had our phones go down thanks to our internet provider decided to upgrade things at 3 a.m. last night. Upgrade, and so I've been in since 6:30 fixing the phones, and thankfully they're working again. But there's nothing like running a business and having your phones go down even for an hour.
You kind of need the phone. We had some issues with internet here when we first got our office renovated, and it was you can't do anything.
You can't. If you don't have phones or internet or both, in our case, both run through the same pipe, right? It's a real problem. It's a real problem. So you want to have as much redundancy built into the system as you can, but even those don't always work. So it was not a fun morning for me, but thankfully it's working now. Everybody's back, getting back to clients and leads and things like that. So hopefully that's behind us now for the time being.
Yeah, no, it's good. We'll cut it short. It's a short one today. We didn't have the guest yet. I'm going to send Scott an email. We'll try to get him on the next couple of weeks. And I know Rob has a few more guests planned for the future, so that's always good.
Fantastic.
everybody's busy, so that's a good thing too. So hopefully everybody that's watching
Yep.
us is busy.
Well, no, things are starting to slow down when viewership goes up.
It's the truth. It's actually kind of crazy, which is, you know, and it's a good thing. It's good when no one's watching us because we know they're busy. Not nobody. But
By the way, I have to compliment you. That is a sharp-looking shirt. I like that a lot. That's a good combo. The shirt.
I'm running low on shirts because I have to pick the rest up at the cleaners today. I got a little sharp for the hangouts on Thursday.
I'm feeling like I need to do some serious shopping. I'm a hobo right now. I've worn out all my shoes. I had 2 holes in my sport coat the other day. My linen jacket. I was looking at the elbows and I noticed they had torn. I'm a hobo. But speaking of hobos, did you happen to see the latest Trivago ad?
Oh no, Trivago. No, I don't have cable.
They cleaned him up.
Oh, is he
They
all
cleaned him up.
shaven now and everything else?
No, they combed his hair. They did up his shirt. They give him a belt. Everything that people were bugging him about, they fixed.
Very smart marketing. Let me tell you that.
Fantastic.
We should
Fantastic.
totally side note. We should talk about maybe next week. We're talking about clothes and suits and everything else. The broker survey on CMP magazine is out. That was a question. Do you wear a suit to work? That'd be an interesting.
Oh yeah.
That'd be an interesting kind of poll to talk, to see what's in the brokers, how they dress, what they do, and.
I think it's certainly more common. I'd be curious to see the results. I think it's way more common than it was when I started a dozen years ago, and people are doing it. I don't wear one every day, that's for sure.
Every time I come to the office in a suit, the owner asks me where my job interview was. So
I find there's pros and cons to it because some people like that. Some clients respond to that, but I think also some clients don't respond to that. If they wanted that, they'd go to the bank. Sometimes I think they feel it's a little intimidating. So there may be, there's a good case to be made for meeting your client where they're at.
There we go. Well, we should talk about that because I know Jackson, when he's back, he's got obviously a whole different.
Yeah, sounds
good. A little bit, but there we go. Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, have a great day, Scott.
Good week. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, everybody.
Adios. Bye-bye.
Bye.